Good morning and welcome to an all-new Eye of the Tiger. I'm Rachel Barber.
And I'm Nick Chang.
Last week, junior Jordan Berry helped save someone's life at Roseville High School.
I just came back from swimming a makeup lab, and then I heard someone's voice say, he's been underwater for a while. So then I looked over, and then I saw him under the water. And, as soon as I, realized something was wrong, I went over to him and I pulled him out of the water. And then this other kid named Jacob, he helped me get him out of the pool and onto the deck. And then he started coughing and stuff, so we knew he was breathing. We were all very scared, but he came over and, of course, checked to see if he was okay. And then we called the ambulance and everything like that. So.
For the full story, check out this Friday's broadcast.
New revisions to the district grading policy and a grading guidelines guidebook were released to Roseville High School staff in early September. We go to Wafiq Ridwan with more.
Here at the Roseville Joint Union High School District Professional Development Center, the Continuous Improvement Leadership Team, also known as SILT, recently completed revisions for the district grading policy. The new grading policy eliminates extra credit and eliminates any consideration for weighted credit awarded to classes outside of the district.
I like to give extra credit for students who participate in class and encourage participation, and so I give participation points which go towards extra credit. It usually isn't a huge bump in someone's grade, but I think having that as a way of reinforcing positive feedback in class is a good thing.
To me, it's not reflective of what students can do. It's just sort of padding a grade. If teachers offer extra credit for various things within their classroom, I have no problem with that, but I don't really offer extra credit because, like I said, I feel like it doesn't represent what students are capable of doing when it comes to curriculum, content, things like that.
According to RJUHSD Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Jess Borhan, the goal of eliminating extra credit is to eliminate the subjectivity that can result from its broad definition in the grading policy.
The practice of here's my course, here's the given work that students have to do to arrive at a certain grade, adding something on top of that for some students versus all students seems inequitable and seems arbitrary and seems subjective.
In addition to revising the grading policy, SILT released a grading guidelines guidebook. According to Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Jess Borhan, the guidebook is the first of its kind in the district.
And basically what it is, it's a guidebook that's going to promote conversation, guided conversation between student, teacher, and parent on the aspect of grading and how students, how teachers arrive at grades and students get grades in their classes.
With the guidebook in its second draft, there are certain lines that serve as points of contention for teachers. For example, it recommends teachers to consider the mathematical discrepancy of giving students a 0 on assignments when designing their grading structure. In response, the guidebook encourages teachers to give students a 50% to serve as a score holder for an F and reduce the impact of a 0 on a student's overall grade.
Mathematically, when you look at how a student gets a grade, 90 to 100 is usually an A, 80 to 89 is a B. So it's 10% increments or 10-point increments. Well, an F could be 0. But that's a huge drop from the D, which is 60%. So while every increment in that grading scale is a 10-point increment, the question that's mathematically being asked is, why does a student who gets a D versus an F go from 60% or 62% to 0%?
English teacher Dean Gadway disagrees with this recommendation.
I'm philosophically against saying that a student not doing work automatically gets them a 50% for something. Nothing means nothing, and a student sometimes I have students that are motivated by the fact that they have a 0 on an assignment and that they would need to make that up or complete it.
According to Borhan, enforcement for the grading policy and for the grading guidelines will differ. Unlike the grading policy, which is enforced by law, the grading guidelines will merely serve as guidelines for teachers to look as a guide for better grading practices.
Be sure to read the full story in yesterday's edition of Eye of the Tiger, and you can watch the full interview with Jess Borhan online.
We now go to Cale Gibson with sports.
Good morning, and welcome to this Tuesday's edition of EOTSN. I'm Cale Gibson. The varsity boys water polo team for the past 2 years have hosted a tournament at Roseville High School to commemorate former RHS water polo player and swimmer Brandon Bridges, who sadly passed away in a fatal car accident just over 2 years ago. We go to Nolan Frame with more.
Varsity coach Brad Molina believes that this tournament honors both Brandon and his parents.
He passed away suddenly a couple years ago in a car accident, and so through that there was a lot of money donated in his honor. A lot of that, and that money was given to the program by the family. So we just trying to figure out how we wanted to use that money. So we bought a stat board, which is up on the wall there, and actually has Brandon's name on it. And then we also decided to have a tournament. My son said, let's have a tournament at Roseville, and we decided to do that. So that's where the tournament started last year. It's our second year.
According to varsity goalie Peter Edmondson, this tournament is more special than the others.
I'd met Brandon once at a practice when he came to help, but it meant a lot to me to do this for Brandon's parents and to play as hard as we could. It's any tournament, so we want to win it, but I wanted to play extra hard for Brandon's parents to show him that he still means a lot to him that he ever played in our program. He still holds records on the scoreboard, and he's just been a big part of our program.
The Tigers would go undefeated and win the tournament, beating the Mira Loma Matadors, the Del Campo Cougars, and the Nevada Union Miners. In other news, the varsity football team continued their losing streak as they would fall to the Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack 36-21. And that's it on your home for Roseville High School sports, top plays, breakdowns, and more. I have the Tiger Sports Network, EOTSN. Now we go over to entertainment.
Thanks, Kale. In 2014, Kingsman: The Secret Service surprised everyone with an audacious screenplay and intense action. It went on to become a sleeper hit that was begged for a sequel, and it certainly recaptures that wondrous success. But Kingsman: The Golden Circle certainly ups the ante, keeping the same tongue-in-cheek humor intact along with gritty action and a cast of well-known names. The story is one that we're all quite familiar with. A psychotic villain tries to control the world, or at least the US, in an absolutely preposterous manner. Our hero also needs to save the day with the odds stacked against them. In order to make it more challenging, they need to earn the respect of their new allies too. As action is still the primary focus, the cinematography makes it much easier to follow, reminiscent of the first movie. In the acting department, Taron Egerton, Mark Strong, and Julianne Moore are all effective in their respective roles. On the other hand, some roles feel underutilized, such as Haley Berry, Channing Tatum, and Jeff Bridges, who are all undoubtedly reserved for the next movie. This also means there's a lot of fluff this time around that could have been done away with to make a leaner, meaner screenplay. But the director, Matthew Vaughn, seemed to have a lot more fun making this movie, and the essence translates well to the screen too. With the explosive box office records of the series, a threequel would be necessary to tie all the loose ends left in the Golden Circle. And now we go back to news.
Thanks, Jackson. Last week, Roseville's dance program visited elementary schools in the area.
The RHS dance program has visited local elementary and middle schools these past few weeks. Dancer Kate Riley took part in the project to conduct dance shows for the kids.
You get to interact with the kids, and you also get to perform for them. And then afterwards you get to teach them a workshop dance, and they really enjoy it, so it's just really fun interacting with them.
They tour schools with a mission to reach out to children in the community in order to demonstrate the ability of RHS's dance team and to empower the future RHS students.
Just to get an outreach in the community, and then especially for the middle schoolers, to draw them into the dance program for when they come to high school.
The dancers look forward to visiting more schools next term. That's it for us today on Eye of the Tiger.
And remember, we're always on at eyethetigernews.com. See you next time.